Hello, welcome back. We're going to be checking out an incident I had with Mr. Ron Sommers. I wrote to him in iRacing and after a wreck that we had, and I'm just going to read it verbatim here. Alright, so I said, Ron, you flat out ran me over in turn 4 in the restart. So what was the purpose of you running me over if you know that you're not one of the faster cars? I ran in the top 3 to 4 until you put me in the wall and ruined my race. I didn't see you anywhere near the front until that restart. You can't just full throttle into 3 and 4 with disregard of who's in front of you. If there is a car in front of you, then you have to lift, unless, and this isn't in my email, unless you want to wreck the car. You're not even, this is kind of me flaming. I said, you're not even fast in the long run, and I said, no offense, but you were slow, which he was. I went back and looked at his lap times, and he was slow. Even though he restarted in the top on the restart, he got passed by a bunch of cars. And I also said, so why did you decide you were going to run me over on that restart? Because you started up front, you cost me a lot of IRating, took me out of the race. Hopefully you learn, especially if you run in the top split one day. And Ron writes me back. So that was I was trying not to flame too hard on him because I know everybody started somewhere, but Ron wrote me back. He says, check my telemetry. You cut down in front of our line, whoever our is. He's the one that was racing the car. So and he says, not only was I not full throttle, I got on the binders and I had to catch it because you didn't want to get freight trained. He wasn't on binders, and you'll see in a second that he actually was on the throttle when he wrecked me. I'm not one to ruin someone's race. I even lifted the second time for you, but that must be because you're so much faster than me. He's making fun of me here. Did you see the number 2 on my bumper as well? So 2 claims that he lifted and that the number 2 was on his bumper, which is why he couldn't give me any room. I should have let him run me over checking up for you. I did the best I could in the situation. Okay, so 2 claims. He lifted and he had the number 2 on his bumper. So let's take a look at this video here. You can already see from the video it doesn't look good. I'm gonna rewind it here. So this is leading up to the wreck. This is off of a restart. So back it up another straightaway. So I am getting past on the inside here. And okay, so again, I'm just gonna reiterate. We're riding in Ron's car. 2 claims. Ron claims that he lifted twice, but he lifted, so it wasn't his fault that he wrecked me. And the second claim was the number 2 was on his bumper. So I'm not mad at you, Ron. Let's just look at the facts here, okay? So we'll play this in real time. And we'll switch to my car. And there's me in the wall. So let's go back. The first claim. The Ron wasn't on the gas; he was lifting. So let's take a listen to Ron's motor. Um. Okay. Okay. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's definitely let me see if we can. Okay. Oh, it won't let us look at his accelerator. Let's see if we can see inside his car, his tachometer, cockpit. Okay. So let's look at his tachometer. He's running between 7 and 8,000 RPM right here. Let's see what happens when. He was definitely on the throttle right here. On the throttle with me in this position and his car in this position. He didn't lift until I started coming down the track, which he's not inside me. He doesn't have the position right here. He's showing his nose, but Ron, if you're watching this, you do not have the position here. You don't have the position. This is called forcing a position or dive bombing. You're not in my under my quarter panel. You're showing your nose and being under someone's quarter panel is two totally different things. And you didn't lift until you were in this position. And by that time it was already too late. So you're still at the same between 7 and 8. And okay, so right now you're in my back bumper. Let's go to the external view. You're not under me. You don't have the position. You don't have the quarter. Let's get rid of this. You are definitely into my back bumper right there. That's in my back bumper. I don't know how much more clear you can see that. Your fender isn't on the side of my rear quarter panel. You're in my back bumper right there. You're literally in my back bumper. That's pretty clear that you're in my back bumper. You're not on the side of me. You're literally tagging my left rear bumper. Okay? Claim number 2 was that the 2 car was on. Okay, I'm going to read this verbatim just so I don't get it wrong. Did you see the number 2 car on my bumper as well? On his bumper. I should have let him run me over for checking up for you. So let's look at the number 2 car. And Ron, I'm not hating on you. I'm just, you asked me to, in your own words. Let's see. You said I did the best I could in the situation. You didn't do the best you could because you put both of us in a really bad situation for a slower car on the track. I mean, what was the purpose of putting your car in this position. Okay, and anyway, I digress. And then we're gonna be done with this replay. Oh man. Okay. So I'm coming down the track. I'm clear. I'm there. You're not underneath me at this point, and I'm making my apex to the turn. And your rationale is that you've already checked up for me once or twice, so you don't have to check up again. That I that's just wrong in all sense of the words as far as racing etiquette's concerned, unless you want to just wreck people because you've already checked up for them once or twice. You can't you can't just run people over. If you think you were faster than me, follow behind me for a half a lap and then see if you can try to pass me legitimately instead of forcing your nose underneath me. Okay, so and let's look at the number 2, because your second point to your first point was that you lifted twice and you didn't want to be run over, and your second point was that you didn't want to be run over from the back. So all right. All right, let's go to the number 2 car. Ron, the number 2 car was not on your bumper. Look at how far back the number 2 car was. You do look at and another point, look at how far you dove it into the turn. You just dove your car down. The 2 is keeping a certain gap with you here, threatening to pass you, and then right here the 2 lets up, and you just continue to dive your car faster than the 2, faster than my car, into the turn. That's called a dive bomb. So look at where the 2 is in relationship to you. He's nowhere near your back bumper. Let's. Okay, so you lifted once or twice here. We still haven't gotten into the incident. You're in lifting mode, and you said that the number 2 was on your back bumper. So you're in lifting mode. You're in lifting mode. You're in lifting mode. Your claim to me was that the 2 was on your back bumper, and he was gonna run you over. Is this the 2 running you over? Is this the 2 running you over? You really, you put yourself in this position and you can't lift? Come on, Ron. Let's look at that sequence again. This is Ron going into the turn. He sees it in you. I get it. You see an opportunity, but the door closed on you. You can't just stay on the gas and run the person over in front of you. You can't do that. The number 2 was a full car length, probably more than a car length behind you. He was not on your bumper. That's just Ron, I'm sorry. That's just you flat out running me over, just like I said. So I watched the replay. So I don't know what you were watching. You claimed that you lifted twice and that you were going to be run over by the 2 behind you. There it is, right there. So we're gonna end it there. Ron, take a look at this. Write me back on iRacing if you want, and we'll see what you have to say from here.